Hey there YouTube, Mr. Fedora Man here, back again with the next part of the whole Fire Emblem bonus stuff with Ephraim. So yeah, how is everyone doing? I'm doing pretty dandy myself. Very busy, mind you, but other than that, so there's only this video and one more afterwards, and then we're done this chapter 14. Then we've got to do chapter 15 and 16, and then I'm done this little bonus project, and then I got to think about what I'm going to do next. Now, this video is definitely going to go up after the whole Gamer Infinity dealy. So by now you should know, if you haven't heard, I am on a channel, a group collaborative channel called the Gamer Infinity. It hosts it hosts myself, Zudi Suit, from Gamer Duality. It has Max from the Best 5 Minutes, and it also has Millennium Jester as well. There might be another friend of Max who is joining us, but I'm not sure what's going on with that yet. So yeah, I decided to join in this collab group because, one, we're all pals, and two, it's easier on everyone. Because if you're coming from one channel, let's say you're coming from Zudi's channel, and you go to the Gamer Infinity channel, you might probably see one of Max's LPs, or my LPs, or Millennium Jester's LPs, and then perhaps you'd be interested in us as well, and check out our videos. And the second thing is that with 4 people, and possibly 5 on one channel, it's definitely easier upload-wise, because if you miss an upload, or you haven't uploaded for a while, you probably won't have to worry because there's 3 other people. So yeah, that's one thing to say. Now, also as this, I'm gonna try and do as many videos as I can, but like I said, I'm fairly busy as of late, so I don't get a whole lot of time to do these post commentaries and do live commentaries for Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. So I don't know. Man, we just had a bit of a weird little stutter there. I don't know what the hell that was. I'll just keep going, I suppose. I mean, it's post-commentary. It doesn't exactly matter if things are out of sync. Well, if I'm talking about stuff on screen, I am going to kind of look like a jackass, but whatever. It's cool. Oh, man. I'm actually so glad right now about the weather. I know the weather is kind of a weird topic. It's also one of those very awkward topics. Like, it's like, so, how's the weather? Kind of like, oh, just breaking the ice. That's kind of what it is, because it's one of those days where I can't keep a flowing conversation. I'm tired. It's Friday. Sleep is what I need so badly. But yeah. I'm trying to think, what was I talking about before? Oh yeah, about the whole Final Fantasy Tactics Advance LP. That one is going to be a long LP. Let me tell you. Boy, I tell you. It's going to be a long LP. I'm going to try and make the parts right now have to be under 15 minutes because the Gamer Infinity does not have the more than 15-minute time limit yet. Is there a couple of little bits and bobs that go ahead? Like, I think one of Zudi's videos, or it might be one of Max's videos, I can't remember, they're over 15 minutes by a couple seconds, like 10 or so seconds, and I think that's alright. But I don't exactly know what the limit is. So those videos so far are going to be under 15 minutes. But once that gets up, they're most likely going to be probably around the 17-20 minute mark, because it's going to be a long Let's Play, and I'd like to get as much progress out of a battle as possible. I will be trying to keep in the battles that I need to keep in, Like, if I have to do a battle where I gotta, like, you know, for a little side quest, I might show a little bit of it and then cut out, because these are gonna take a while to do if I'm doing all these different side quests, and especially like training too. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of training, probably off screen, because you just gotta be ready for these things. You gotta be ready. Don't want to be looking like a fool. Now, as you can see here, well, one, archer getting a critical, but two, I was looking at, it's interesting, if you go over a unit and you press the B button on them, you get to see, or is it the B button? It might be the A button, one of the two. You get to see their movement range. Now, if you do it again, if they're a mage, you can see their magic range, which is highlighted in green and not red. Because red is their movement and attacking kind of thing, and green is where their magic can reach. So, since both of those druids have berserk staffs, like I so forementioned, that means that that's the range of their berserk staves, and you just gotta be careful. I was very, very lucky in this chapter, because only one of the two druids used his berserk staff, and he only used it once, and it didn't work. So, only problem, I believe it was on Gilliam, so that could have been terrible. It could have been terrible if it hit Gilliam, because if Gilliam turned around and was like, I'm gonna kill you, then he probably could have done it too. I don't doubt it. Especially since it's Arthur and he's a mage. And Gilliam does have pretty good resistance, well, at least the one that the Gilliam that I have. He's got pretty damn good resistance. He's not all that affected by magic. I mean, it does take its toll if there's a crap ton of magic uses with moderately high power attacking him, like Selena for one. Her elf, or not her elf. No, it wasn't Selena. It was like the elf fire, like the higher class spells. Like the elf fire was doing, I think, 5 or 6 damage, and still that's not a whole lot to Gilliam in the short run, but over a period of time without him being healed, it does take its toll. So you gotta be careful. And this part here, what I was doing, I was just moving loot back, because as I got Ross to open that treasure chest, a guiding ring was found inside, and I wanted to give it to Loot so that she could immediately start gaining levels in this level. Lol. Because I don't know, I don't really want to have to do as much training, considering there's only 2 chapters left to go through for this little bonus. And like I said before, the variations in text and dialogue are very, very, there's not a whole lot after the whole chapter split. Like, these chapters you've obviously never seen before, because this is Ephraim's path, and these are completely different chapters. Or they might not be, some of them are the same place, but in different perspectives, like the next chapter, with Johanna. That one is exactly like the Erica one, because in the Erica one, near the bottom left corner, Ducel, Noel, and Ephraim came out of the corner. And it's going to be the exact same map as the, what was it, chapter 15 for Erica's path. It's going to be the absolute same, but just from a different side. Now, yeah, like I said, some of these chapters are different, some of them are the same. It all ends up turning into a game anyways, so I suppose it doesn't really matter how you sequence it together. Now this is where I was looking through all my resistance, because I was worried that these druids were gonna mess shit up and start using berserk staves all over the place. So I wanted to see who had the highest resistance in that one group there, because I gave Mulder the barrier staff because of this, because I thought, well, if I give him the barrier staff, he can use it on someone who has the highest resistance to boost their resistance and possibly stave off the berserk status. Because even if it's used on you and it misses, it still counts as a use. That's not the same with that's kind of the same with weapons. Like weapons, as long as they're like this sleep staff, for instance. Even though it only has a 7% chance of hitting Gilliam, if he uses the sleep staff, it still counts. So it doesn't matter if you're attacking someone, and if I use a mage, no, if I use a, let's say, a cavalier on an archer, the archer just dodges the attack or gets hit by the attack, the archer doesn't lose one use because they didn't use the bow. That's what I mean. It's the same but different. Weapon use obviously does what it says. It's when the weapon is used, but magic stabs, if they're used once, that counts as a use even if it misses. I suppose does that go the same for weapons? I think weapons are only if they hit. I don't know. I try not to think about these things sometimes, but sometimes it just gets ridiculous. Oh, and I forgot to follow up on what I was talking about the weather before. It actually is, well, it was raining. I don't know if it's raining right now, but it was raining like a whole crap ton. Jeez. And it's supposed to be raining this entire weekend, well, at least here, so that's kind of shitty. That is very shitty, and that makes me sad face because, well, at the same time it makes me sad, but at the same time it doesn't because we've been having a dry time here, and it has not been very fun. So rain is nice for a little instance, just to kind of cool you down. And as you can see, I turned a loot into a mage knight because I normally turn her into a sage. I figured mage knight we've only seen a little bit of. I can't remember if I made a mage knight in maybe an offhand playthrough, but I figured I might as well give it a go. I mean, all you get is the addition of stabs and more moving radius, which is actually useful for loot. Don't know. It's going to be annoying on Chapter 15. All my horseback units, I'm probably going to be cutting out most of my horseback units just so that my on-foot units can roam about. I mean, really, the only units that are useful that are mounted units are flying ones such as wyverns or Pegasus because they're not restricted by moving on the ground. Whereas cavaliers and great knights and mage knights, they're all restricted by the movement of the horse. So in the Sand of Johanna, the horses can't move very far, like 2-3 spaces max. So then you've just gotta move them as far as you can, but it's not very far, so most of your on-foot units can get to the place that you're mentioning before then. Yes, critical. Oh, see, that's the difference I think I'm talking about here. He does the spinning knives thing, so he slashes twice and then he jumps up. But when he's doing his silencer thing, he jumps down, and not only that, but the background has that purple, two purple things in the back. I don't know what to call them, to be completely honest. See, this is what I mean. Look at that. Hellfire only did 5 damage to Gilliam. Gilliam just nods that. He nods that off. He eats 5 damage for breakfast. But constant assault on him with magic is not it's not good. Not good at all. Holy crap! I've been rambling for. These post commentaries make you realize how much you've been actually rambling for. I've been rambling for 13.5 minutes or so. Like Christ. I'm gonna be happy when I can move past this Fire Emblem. So I like Fire Emblem, but this is kind of just a tiny little bonus project. See, this is what I'm talking about. It had a 29% chance to work. And that is scary, because he would have turned around and he would have attacked Arthur, and then Arthur would have been in trouble. But he managed to survive, or he managed to not get hit by it. So then I tried to move Gilliam out of the range and just let the mages come to me. So I got a mage and I've got a knight. So I was like, why not? Yeah, as you can see, I just kept them there. And then finally we get a hammer and staff. Staff. I said that really quietly. The hammer and staffs are really interesting. I don't know if I've probably explained this before, but they are a 3-use staff that can be, as the name states, they can be used 3 times, and they can fully repair any weapon. That's kind of why in instances I hang on to like Erica's rapier or Ephraim's ringlif or whatever the hell it's called, because those things are very useful, and they're pretty cool, and they can be held on to for further use. So it's all good in the hood. Oh man. It's really hot in here without the fan. I have to turn the fan off when I'm doing commentary because otherwise the fan shows up in the recording, and to be completely honest, no one likes that. I can tell you that. I don't like ambient noise in the background going on. I hate to sound like a hypocrite because I know some of my videos have ambient noise in the background. I suppose it all depends on what your setup is. I mean, my setup's alright. I mean, I don't have like the greatest setup in the world. But, I try. I do Let's Plays because I enjoy them. If that makes any sense. I do them because I enjoy making videos for the internet, even if they don't get popular. I do this because I like it. It's fun. I've already met a couple of people online that I wouldn't have met otherwise if I didn't start Let's Playing as soon as I did. So, that's always a plus to decide, or to agree on. Even if you're not a very popular LPer, if you've made friends over the YouTube community, you can be like, well, there you go. That's what I've done. That is what I have accomplished. What you've gained from doing this YouTube thing. That's how I like to see it. Can't look at the negatives all the time. You gotta look at the positives sometimes. Sometimes I mean lots of the time, because looking at the negatives all the time will make you a very pessimistic person. Okay. Like, look at that! 22 resistance! Compared to, like, what, Gilliam's 15 or something? I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but... It's like, 30% chances, or even lower percent chances, do miss a lot in this game. But sometimes when it counts, they'll hit. So you gotta be careful. Like this, like, look, there's a 50% chance. And it misses. That's what I mean. Anyways, coming up to the end of the recording, so I will see you guys in the next part. So this is Mr. Fedora Man, signing off. Bye.